Hi there, it's Chris from Sally Forth. Thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Wargames Atlantic French Resistance or Partisans 1 set. So to be honest, these will do for any World War II partisans. In fact, when you take a look at them and have a bit of a think, they will really do for any 1930s, 1940s, maybe even early 1950s armed civilians. So if you are collecting sort of People's Army, for example, in the 1938 very British Civil War, then this is ideal for putting together a unit that's going to look really great and isn't going to be so expensive. Also, if you play Pulp Alley, then one of these frames will give you a league, basically. At Sally Forth, we're now selling these as individual frames for £4.50. So for £4.50, you can get a 4-character league out of these, and they're armed 1930s, 1940s civilians. What I'm looking to do, and I'm going to be doing some Pulp Alley character cards to go with these as well. Over a period of many years, sort of on and off, our role-playing group has played a game called Project Dark Prometheus, which is basically an allied World War II intelligence unit investigating the Axis powers and their relationship with the occult, and it's featured the evacuation of Dunkirk being disrupted by sort of deep ones turning over rescue craft. We've been to Czechoslovakia, we've been to Norway, where there was in the heavy water plant there was some sort of Cthulhu monstrosity. We've been to the desert, where there's been sort of sand creatures, and the characters are basically they're sort of military characters, but whenever they appear, they're in civilian clothes when they're operating in occupied Europe. So what I'm looking to do is to put these together, make a Pulp Alley league, and I'm going to get a lot of use out of them. But no, you could probably you could produce really sort of any armed civilians in that 1930s, 1940s period with these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I've painted mine. I've put together a sprue using just what's in the kit, and then I've also put together another sprue with a bit of variety using some bits from my bits box, which has actually come from the Wargames Atlantic British Expeditionary Force. It's a great kit. We'll have a look at the sprue, we'll have a look at my step-by-step painting guide. Lots of SMG, pistol, rifle options, even a Bren gun there. I guess my only criticism with the kit, and this kind of goes probably for a lot of different kits, is it would be great to have a completely empty left arm and a right arm, because there is a left arm carrying a a rifle casually, and like the only right arm that will go with it is a guy throwing a grenade. Now sometimes that pose works, but no, it would be great to have just an empty left and right arm. But that's a very sort of minor quibble. I really like this kit. I've put together several sprues. I'm going to be doing some more. I'll probably do some sections for very British Civil War with it. So what we're going to do, we'll have a look at the sprue. We'll have a look at the how I've painted mine, my step-by-step guide, which you can always pause, photograph, whatever, and then we'll have a look at the spin video of how the two sprues have turned out. So one just using bits from this kit, one using a few BEF parts from my bits box. these are the figures that I painted up from the Wargames Atlantic Partisans set for this article. The ones on the left use only parts from the Partisan box set. The ones on the right also had some bits and pieces from my bits box that had come from the Wargames Atlantic BEF, just to add a bit of variety. They've been mounted on thin, clear bases, and I'm really pleased with how they've come out. I think they could be used pretty much for any armed civilians from the 30s, 40s, maybe early 50s. So they're going to be ideal for using in Pulp Alley and also for the very British Civil War. Just to give you an idea of some of the versatility of this kit, we have some figures here that I have converted using the Wargames Atlantic Partisans as the body and sort of key part. I've then added a snake head from the Frostgrave Snake Men and some bits and pieces from my bits box, which I think have mainly come from the Frostgrave Wizards. So these are going to make some Cthulhu type opponents. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please leave a comment, tell me what you think, ask any questions you might have, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Hit the button down there, subscribe to the channel, and then you will find out what we're doing next.